Hey Al, how's it going?
Hey, Tim. Thanks for having me, man.
Hey man, it's a pleasure having you on here. Just started doing these interviews, and I'm so happy I could get you on here. I know you're a busy guy. Al, again, I was talking to you earlier on. I just wanted to thank you for being who you are, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here at EXP. And my life's changed tremendously in the last 2.5 years. And thank you very much for making that move, brother.
Oh man, my pleasure. I'm excited that we're connected and we're partnered together and working together and making a change in some lives, man. So I appreciate you having me on.
Well, thank you very much. Hey, Al, you used to own a brokerage. You're from Cleveland. Can you maybe tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Yeah. I started out, in a working class blue collar, town called Parma, Ohio. My
Okay.
dad was a part-time real estate agent with Century 21. As a matter of fact, we had, and that's actually where I started my career. But prior to that, I had, I dropped out of the university here in Cleveland because I really didn't have the direction of where I wanted to go, why I was even there. And
Yeah.
I wasn't the best student to boot. But I actually ended up going into the trucking industry. I got my CDL. I was driving truck over the road, which is a tough life. But
Yeah.
I was young. I wasn't married. I had no family at the time. But I knew that I had ambition, but I had no direction. And
Hmm.
so I got into real estate really by accident because my dad was, like I said, part-time real estate agent with Century 21. He worked a full-time job on the docks and would come home, shower, shave, and head up to the office or to appointments. And I seen him, hustling in the 80s. And, the old school office of the 80s is not what we see today. And I know
No.
that you're probably very familiar and you know what I'm talking about, but it
Yeah.
wasn't a super friendly, warm, cozy environment. It was male dominated. Everybody in there smoking in the office, swearing at each other. I was like, I will never be a real estate agent if this is what I'm going to come to. Like, I don't want anything to do with it. So that's just kind of was my mindset. But I didn't have many options. I had no degree. I really had no other like skill. I wasn't a carpenter. I couldn't, I wasn't handy and everything like that. But I knew that I could speak with people. I had that, what I'm told anyways, I had that gift of gab, so to speak. And I figured, you know what, I could probably, learn to sell.
Right.
And so then I had to kind of decide when I was driving truck, if I stop doing this, what do I do? If I'm going to sell anything, I need it to be something that everyone needs, and it's a high dollar figure thing, because I'm not going to sell low dollar figure things. I'm going to spend my time. I'm going to, so real estate is what it was. And I quit my truck driving job and got my license. And I always was in search of a better way and of growing my real estate business. I was always in search of, I wouldn't say a shortcut, but who could I learn from?
Hmm.
And so, long story short, I ended up meeting my business partners now, Michael Reese and Jay Kinder, through their marketing process. Somehow I got put into one of their marketing funnels. And,
Imagine that.
before I had signed up for their coaching program, I was learning so many things on, how to list for sale by owners, how to hire an inside salesperson to set listing appointments for you. And I was learning all this stuff, and they hadn't even asked me for my credit card yet. And I was like, wow, these guys are great. So, I just have been a student of the business because I had to be. And then I just fell in love with real estate and ended up growing a team through Remax, which I loved Remax. I never thought I'd leave Remax. In fact, I got the Hall of Fame pin right there.
Nice. Nice.
We can get into this later, Tim, but the thing with this pin is you can't deposit this in a bank account. So really, it represents $1 million in commissions, but you you can't turn this and sell it for anywhere close to that. So started my own brokerage shortly after the team, and then in 2017 saw the platform that we're a part of, that we're partners on, which is EXP Realty.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great platform. I joined in 2019, and I was telling you earlier, I was with Century 21 for over 20 years, and seeing what EXP had to offer, and not only me, but it's changed my family's life. And the nice thing about this, I've been here now 2 years, going on my third year. I've got right now 61 business partners. across Canada. And it's really changed lives with them as well. And it's because of guys like you and Mike and Jay and the collaboration that we have with EXP, which is huge. One thing I was going to ask you is, what would you say actually drives you every day that has something to do with EXP?
What gets me excited is really this company that we're a part of is constantly innovating. I just got back, as you know, from Puerto Rico.
Yep.
I was fortunate enough to be invited to a mastermind of the top earners with EXP, that and alongside there was all the executive team. So these guys are accessible, and it's not just guys, ladies too, in the executive team. And they brought us down here to Puerto Rico to get feedback and continue, so we can continue to innovate.
Yeah,
I believe one of the things of that a lot of the popular brands, and you can go right down the line, I won't mention any, but we know who the most popular recognized brands in the industry. The reason why they're not gaining market share and they're actually moving back and getting it's retracting is because they stopped innovating.
Right.
That's innovation is just a core value of our company. We happen to have, one of the most innovative, smart individuals in Glenn Sanford, our founder, who's constantly looking for another way to, bring more value to the real estate agents who are a part of our organization. Also bring more revenue into our organization. And that's important because the more revenue and the more profitability, we all are shareholders in this company. And it's really cool and special. We all have ownership. We all have a stake in the game. When the company does well, we all do well. We call that financial alignment. There isn't another company on the planet that has more financial alignment and opportunity than EXP Realty and our platform.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. There's so much more that, I find that EXP brings. One thing I really like is that, in the traditional real estate company out there, and I talk about it a lot when I'm talking to agents in Canada, is that the traditional way for an agent to do business, it doesn't matter what model they're with, is that they come up with an idea, they come up with a strategy, and then they go like this and they hold on to it. And they will not let go of that. They will not help anybody else because that's how they make money. Well, the nice thing about EXP is, with the collaboration that we have here, that if I can help you grow, that's going to help me grow and help me prosper as well. And the collaboration, which leads me to the Honey Badger Group, which you are one of the people that have started it. And what do we have, 6,000 or more EXP agents in there, Honey Badgers?
We're actually almost at 10,000 agents in Honey Badger Nation right now.
Oh my God. And that's all collaboration. If anybody needed a hand with anything, they could go in there, post something, and right away they'll have somebody reach out to them and help them. And that kind of collaboration is great. Can you add to anything to that at all?
Sure. Tim, a lot of people talk about revenue share and stock, and then they don't understand that those are just the mechanisms that drive the collaboration. And the reason, it's because we're all financially aligned. Right. So when you really try to examine this movement that we're a part of, and really want to look at it without a skewed vision of really what it is, as much as possible. If you're someone that's not with us and you're just looking, and maybe you've heard some stuff, and a lot of the things you've heard are from the haters, right? Because when you climb to the top, you're just going to you gain more and more haters. And if you listen to that noise and not for the truth, then you're not going to be hearing accurate. You're not going to be able to think about this accurately.
That's right.
So I would invite people to really think on their own and understand this one principle. This is something that I learned, which is really huge. It's not about the revenue share and the stock. It's about what the revenue and share stock do. Mm-hmm. And what they do is it aligns everyone together. Everyone's pulling for everyone. Like you had said with the collaboration, why is it that our company, EXP Realty, has a higher level of collaboration than any other company I've been a part of? I've been doing this for 23 years. We've been part of the same franchises and maybe, some different ones. And I've been part of some of the best, national franchise companies on the planet.
Right.
And there just wasn't this collaboration. And so you got to ask, what's the difference? Why? Why is it so different? And it's because of, look, rising tides raises all ships, not just the people at the top. And so as the leaders of this organization start to become successful, wealthy, whatever, they're bringing everyone else up with them. It's not like, we're leaving people down, at the bottom to fend for themselves. It's in our best interest to help everybody win. And, Jay said it one day, and I thought it's worth repeating, is that we don't help. And this is very important for people to hear. We can't, nor do we help losers become winners. We help winners win bigger and winners win faster. And that's why we're seeing the acceleration. You see so many winners, so many people that are ambitious, hungry, and they have a good heart, and they want to help people. And that kind of fits the mold of who we see constantly joining. We have 1,000 real estate agents a week. Wrap your head around that. 1,000 real estate agents a week are transferring their license and jumping aboard our rocket ship that we got here.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So
for sure. Yeah. In Canada, we're just booming. When I started in Ontario, I think I was agent 167 or 168. And we just recently crossed over the 2,000 mark in Ontario alone, and BC and Alberta, they're just crushing it. November, December, I think there was 40, 50 people that came on just in Alberta, which in Canada is huge. And it goes to has a lot to say with, the ideas that Glenn Sanford has put together. And I talk about Glenn quite often because Glenn actually comes from Peace River, Alberta. I don't know. It's crazy to think that he comes from that small town, but one of the things about bringing people to EXP, we attract agents. We're not recruiting, we're attracting, because we have the systems, we have the camaraderie, the collaboration, we have the passive income that helps people change their lives. If you want to get into the attraction part of it a bit for me, what's your ideas about attracting agents?
So just to kind of go down the line of agent attraction is another word for recruiting. And unfortunately, recruiting's been given a black eye in our industry. Yeah. And I believe that the reason why it's been given a black eye is because there's so many, let's call it uneducated people who are doing the act wrong. Even me, as I was, coming up through the ranks here in my local area of Cleveland, Ohio, I was heavily recruited. And I was at the time, before I was with Remax, I was with an independent broker. I was constantly getting calls, constantly getting emails, whatever. Hey, let's go have lunch. Let's do this. Let's do that. And I didn't feel like it felt clean to me. It didn't feel natural. It didn't feel like they were trying to really develop a relationship with me or really help me. All their real goal was to get me signed up. And so kind of as I started coming up and maturing in this business, I actually started have a very negative connotation toward recruiting. And I never in a million years wanted to be even thought of as a recruiter because of the way I was approached.
Right.
So kind of moving past that, I believe that if I had a little bit of more of a grasp on how to build a business, I may have thought differently about it. But what I did was I studied and learned, and what I've discovered is that recruiting somebody or attracting somebody can't happen unless you solve a problem. It's right. Simple problem solving. And so as a real estate professional that's going out and meeting with a seller, the only reason that they're going to sign a listing agreement with you is if they think that you can help them solve their problem, which is selling their house for the shortest period of time in the highest amount. Usually that's the problem that you're helping them solve. And with a buyer, it's helping them navigate through a huge transaction, maybe sometimes the largest financial transaction of their lifetime. And us as an agent, as their fiduciary, is their tour guide through that process. We're helping them solve those problems. And so, I put the hat on as a problem solver, and I believe a sale can't happen until a problem is solved. And so that's the way I think of it. And, a lot of people that we talk to say, you know what, Al, I just want to sell more houses. That's great. And we've been about that. selling more houses. I mean, going from, I don't know, 35, 40 transactions before I met Michael and Jay to, almost 300 transactions a year. I did that because, I studied marketing and I understood attraction versus chasing, and I ended up building a nice business. But here's the problem with selling 300 homes a year is that next year you got to sell 300 more. And the year after that, you got to sell 300 more and 300 more. And there's really no leverage in that.
Yeah.
And so when you understand leveraged income that can turn into passive income, that then and only then you can get back time freedom.
That's
which
right.
I believe that everyone at one point in their career, if they're a true leader, is going to be moving toward passive income.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, you need leverage. In our platform, there isn't a better platform to get that type of leverage to grow a true business that works harder for you than you do for it.
Exactly. One thing about building business and bringing people on is that, we have all these tools that are sitting there to help us leverage our business as well inside what we get here at EXP. That's really good stuff. I actually put on here, we were going to talk about burning the boats, but I kind of like this here. Maybe we could just touch on it because I did put it on there. Tell me a little bit about burning the boats, because I think this is pretty relevant in a way as well.
Yeah, man. Burning the boats is really just a mindset, a philosophy. There you can see it right there. There's the ships are burning right there in the pic right there.
Yeah.
And what that does for me is it reminds me of, they call the comfort zone a comfort zone for a reason, because it's cozy and comfortable in there. But I can tell you this, Tim, and you probably back me up. You've been in the industry for a long time.
Yeah.
No growth happens in the comfort zone.
That's right.
If you're feeling comfy, if you're feeling cozy, and you don't want, I don't want to upset the apple cart. I can tell you from experience this: when you're coasting and you're coasting along in the comfort zone, there's one thing that's hiding around the corner and you can't see it, but it's there and you will find it. And it's called pain. So when you're not constantly pushing yourself outside that comfort zone, when you're not making big decisions, hard decisions, when you burning the boats is a hard decision. Most people don't know the story, but the story of burning the boats is a story of a conqueror who was sailing, across the ocean to steal the richest treasure known to man in the world. And that treasure was being guarded by the deadliest army in the world because they had, the richest treasure. Yeah. When they got to the shores of Cuba, they actually, they're on the beach, and the captain instructed his sailors to burn their ships, because the only way they were leaving that island was on the enemy's ships. And something happened. They fought really well because they didn't have a plan B. It was plan A or die.
That's right.
It was fight and win or die. So when you make big decisions and burn the boats, you burn the possibility of there is no failure. There, it's we're gonna hit this target or that's it. And that's called, going all in. It's getting out of your comfort zone. And that's when you're gonna see growth, taking some risks.
Yeah. Most definitely. I like that story and that analogy, because I burnt boats when I first came over here. I remember people saying, you're going to come back to the brokerage that I was at. And I go, there's not a chance I'm coming back. I'm burning that trail, because if I burn that trail, I won't be able to come back. And you know what? I'm glad I did that. I look back many times, I see the ashes still sitting there, and that propels me to go forward. Yeah, you're absolutely right on that one.
Tim, let's not confuse burning the bridges versus burning the boats.
No, exactly.
Talk about burning the bridges that, we want to, maintain the good relationships. Now, if it's
yes, most definitely.
Right. Yeah. But I think just your audience, just for their sake, we're not saying burn bridges.
Oh, no.
Unless it's a bridge worth burning, because the relationship has no value to you or the other person, especially if it's toxic.
Yeah, exactly.
But for the most part, burning the boats just means you're making a big decision. You're getting out of your comfort zone, and you're going all in.
Yeah, man. That was when I made the decision to come here. It was the biggest decision I made in my life, and obviously the best decision I've ever made, other than marrying my wife. That was number one. You've been in the business a long time, and you talk about your dad being in the business and all that. What do you think the young Al pre-real estate would think of Al now in real estate?
The pre real estate.
Yeah, where you were before and where you are now. What would the young Al think about where you've gone and how you've done?
I mean, it's really for me to say, man, I would look, I was real ambitious, and that's, that's about all I had on my side.
Right.
I think that the number one thing that has changed the trajectory for me is it's who I surrounded myself with. And the old me was for sure surrounding myself with the wrong people.
Mhm.
And they weren't bad people, so to speak. Well, there were some bad people in there, here and there. Um, it's just we didn't have an alignment as far as we didn't share the same beliefs.
Right.
Okay. Um, and that even comes down to me listening to the wrong music, that dark, angry stuff, that I used to, when I was a kid, listen to. And I still actually today listen to some of that, but I understand a principle of what you feed your brain comes in, comes out. And so you got to really have an awareness of what you're doing, what you're doing. But I know back then I can look back and tell you that the old me was kind of angry at the world, and didn't have a whole lot of direction, and kind of had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder that happens here in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Just kind of being part of the culture of Northeast Ohio. So you got to break through that. First step in breaking through is having awareness that
Mhm.
you don't have the right mindset. And so for me, it was, trying to keep that right mindset every single day, and then seek to surround myself with people who, are going to push me to be better and pull me up to their level, and make me think differently.
Right.
And hopefully that's helpful, because I can tell you, once you start to get around bigger thinkers, you start to think bigger. You
Yeah.
start to think differently on how to solve problems. You start to gain more confidence on how to burn the boats and make bigger decisions.
Yeah.
And once you expand your brain that far, it doesn't go back. That's the cool thing
Right.
about growing yourself personally and professionally. Keep growing, keep growing, keep growing. It's almost impossible for you just to go backwards to a place where you were 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's great. I've learned a lot about you, Al. I've known you. I haven't really got to meet you like this, have an interview with you. I appreciate everything you've done for the company, for the Honey Badgers, for my business partners as well. They're watching this. I know right now they're enjoying it, and I want to thank you for coming on today. If there was one last message that you would want to give somebody, what would that be?
I think the best advice I think I could give would be to really have an open mindset. Being radically open minded, meaning, said differently, means can you look in the mirror and say the words, where am I wrong here, or am I thinking about this accurately, or because of my current belief system am I missing something? And so that's just an intelligent way. I mean, that's Elon Musk 101.
Mhm.
The biggest, brightest thinkers, Joe Rogan. I mean, we can go right down the line of the best thinkers in the world. They are open to being wrong. They have that humility of saying, you know what, the way I'm thinking, in a lot of these are passionate people
Mhm.
that check themselves. And so I think that I was wrong. When when the first couple people told me about EXP Realty, I literally blew them off and said, look, I have my own brokerage. Why would I want to talk to you? And I had to change my thinking. And
Mhm.
I can tell you this decision that I made to open my mind up and at least look at it has not just changed my life or my children's life, but it's going to change my kids and generations down the line. And that's a big deal. You have a
Right.
responsibility to make accurate decisions and
That's
be
right.
loyal. People say this all the time. I'll leave you with this one. People say, well, I'm really loyal to my brokerage and my broker. I've just, I'm a loyal person. And I'll challenge you to say this. Are you more loyal to your broker than you are your own family, your kids, your grandkids, I'd say check your level of loyalty out there and make sure that it's in alignment, you know, with the people who are most important. Because for me, and I know you, it's family first.
Yeah, most
And
definitely.
Yep. So
Most definitely.
that's what I would say to someone who's looking at it. Yeah.
Wow, what a way to I've got goosebumps just from those last few words that you said there. You know, again, thank you very much. I hope we can do this again. I'll see you down in Florida at the shareholders meeting.
Yes, sir. Can't
Looking
wait.
forward to it. Take
Thanks,
care, my
Matt.
friend.
You have a good one.
Bye bye.